much for letting me interview you. I'm so happy.
Of course.
It shouldn't take long. I'll ask you, yeah, it's going to be shorter for you actually because you are not in school anymore. So I have less questions, which is perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, should I start? I just turned on an online recorder so I could type it later.
Okay.
Okay, so, can you start by describing, like, when you were diagnosed with ADHD, like, what led up to it, or, like, yeah, I guess, like, when, and if, like, your parents or you decided you wanted to go get tested?
Okay. Yeah, it was, while I was in college, I want to say it was 2012, probably, early 2012, maybe late 2011. And I actually went to the health center on campus, and I was going initially for neck pain problems, which eventually led to deciding that I had anxiety problems. So I went to see the psychiatrist on campus, who, while I was there to talk to her about my anxiety and depression issues, she brought up if I had ever thought that I had ADD. And I had that crossed my mind before. My dad has ADD, and he had all the way through school. And I always felt like I did school, but I never wanted to say anything about it. It just wasn't something that was really brought up as much. So she tested me for it there, and she said it came out that I have very high likelihood of having it and all that. I began, getting prescriptions for medication then, and I have ever since.
Ah, okay. So how do you think, since you've been diagnosed, in terms of like the impact it's had being able to get medication, do you think it's been helpful with your last couple years of college and work and just real life in general? Like what do you think the diagnosis has done for you?
I think it helped me kind of mitigate a problem that I wasn't sure existed. But in hindsight, it definitely did. I definitely always felt like I was a kid in the class who I didn't understand why I was the only one who, wouldn't just sit down and read like everybody else. I couldn't focus like everybody else. And I did have that problem. And once I finally was able to get the treatment that I needed for it, it has worked wonders for me and has helped me so much. And, obviously through college is stressful and it's crazy and it's hard to keep track of one thing at a time as it is. And having ADD makes it that much harder. So having that, treatment, having that ability to be able to get rid of that issue really helped me get through my stressful, crazy years of college. But then now in the, professional role, it's still the same. When I first moved here, I didn't have my medication, and I was trying to transfer prescriptions, and I realized then how much it helped me because I felt like I couldn't focus on anything, and I couldn't do anything. It would frustrate me because I wish that I could just do it, but at the same time, it made me realize that it is an issue that I can't help on my own, and I do, need that kind of help. And so being on that type of medication, having been diagnosed, has really helped me a lot to actually get through my normal tasks.
Absolutely. Okay, so that's perfect because I want to go into, I guess let me start by telling you my study, it's for a sociology course. I'm doing a research project, and obviously, I have awful ADD, so it's on, mental health, and I'm interested in, the transition from going into the, the education where, ADD, they have an entire accommodations office, they have testing here, and I feel like maybe it's not perfect, but they kind of do, they accept it and whatnot, so now I'm my study, I'm interested in seeing how it has been in the transition into a real workplace, and so I'm just going to ask you a couple questions, I guess, about that transition, if that's okay. Also,
okay.
Just so you know, your name's not used in this at all, it's for a paper, and no one's name is going to be used, and I'm just dictating it. Okay, so okay. So since you have left college, you've gotten a job, and could you tell me a little bit about the experience of first getting there and getting adjusted in terms of having ADD? Did you feel like you had to compensate? Was it easier than school? What was even getting the job? What was this whole experience so far been like?
The adjustment was incredibly difficult, more so than I thought it would be. Really because I started my job 5 days after I graduated from college. So in that period, I had to move and shift gears real quick, and that was difficult. So,
Wow.
I mean, that'd be difficult for anybody. And then trying to keep track of everything and learn something that I really, I got my degree in journalism, and I pursued that degree, and I have a job in journalism, but I cover energy, and I have no background in that. So I had to learn a lot real quick. I kind of hit the ground running, and while I was trying to adjust and trying to get used to the moves and everything on top of everything, I really had a hard time trying to catch up so quickly because it was so hard for me to focus on everything, and I had so much going on in my head because I was trying to, move into my house, and I had financial issues that I was working on, so it was really difficult for me because in college, I did a lot in school. I worked in school, and I was taking extra classes and stuff, and overall, my job now was easier than college was for me because I'm doing far less than I used to, which is phenomenal. But in school, I guess I was just so busy all the time. I could kind of I could only focus on one task at a time. I just had to shift between things constantly. And now I sit in an office all day, and I'm not used to being in one place at one time for that long. And, and when I started, every hour or so, I'd have to get up from my desk and walk away and come back and just try to do anything to keep myself on track and keep myself from, wandering to looking at my bank account and, doing anything that when I had so much to do and I wanted to be thinking about everything else. And it was so hard for me to get used to just being in one place all the time when I was running around like crazy.
So I guess could you just give me a little bit of background about what you are doing now? So you report on energy in Virginia, right?
In West Virginia.
West Virginia, okay. And so, do you go on the field ever, or are you, mainly stationary at this desk?
Depends on the day. I mean, we are a weekly paper, but we publish online every day. So there's always something to do. Never a dull moment.
Absolutely. Also, congratulations, by the way. I can't believe that you were able to get a job 5 days after college. I don't expect to get a job for, a year.
I was shocked that I got this one, but I'm so glad. I'm lucky that I have it. It's a great job, and I love my coworkers. I love my boss. They make everything a lot easier than it could be for me.
Mm-hmm.
But generally, we're a weekly paper, but we publish daily, and we're in southern West Virginia, but we're a statewide paper, so I cover the entire state. And usually when I do go out of the office, I'm going not far. I usually go at least an hour and a half away just because everything's sort of spread out, it seems. Although, important, I don't want to say important, but, the major, hubs of the state are kind of spread out. And I'm in the capital. I'm in Charleston, but it seems like there's less going on here in what I cover than it is in other places because I cover, natural gas and coal and things like that, and that's a lot of, that's up in the mountains and kind of far away from me. So
yeah, it's so interesting.
It's more interesting than I thought it would be. I didn't really know what I was getting into until I got into it, and I realized it's super complex, and there's so much to learn, and I'm not even close to learning it all, and I might never learn it all, but I've, learned a lot since I've gotten here. But so I cover basically the electric utility sector and fossil fuels and renewable energy and things that go through Congress, and, it's multifaceted, and there's a billion things for me to be looking at and trying to follow all the time, but I didn't know exactly what to look for when I got here, so since then I've been trying to figure out what it is that I'm actually supposed to be following.
Yeah.
And I have no clue.
So, do you think that, this is, a career path, I know, because there is so much happening so quick all the time, do you think it's, good or bad that, how do you think ADHD has impacted this with your current job, I guess, and just, in general? Do you feel, overwhelmed at times, or, I guess now you've transitioned a little bit more, so, what are you feeling now about it?
Well, like I said, the job is overall my life is easier now than it was when I was in school, but my job definitely it can be super overwhelming because there's so much for me to be trying to focus on and so much to be thinking about, and it's hard for me to keep on track a lot. I tend to bounce around, and that leads to a lot of things getting halfway done and nothing getting fully done. until like last minute. I'm really bad at, about waiting too long to work on something. I'm lucky in that we're weekly, even though we publish daily, it's usually shorter things that are easy to put out. Our weekly stories are more in-depth or more analytical, but I have, several days to work on it. My problem with being in my field is I love journalism, I love reporting, I love my job. I'm afraid that if I were to get a job at a daily outlet that I wouldn't be able to handle it, that I would be too overwhelmed, that my ADD wouldn't allow me to get anything done on a deadline, and it would be too much for me. It doesn't help also that I have anxiety issues that definitely makes it worse as far as getting overwhelmed, but it is hard for me to stay on task long enough to just start and finish something, and I have the option now to not have to start and finish something at that very moment most of the time. But if you work for a daily paper, you do have to start and finish a lot of things in one day. And I'm afraid that I wouldn't be able to do my job. And I hate that something, mental that I can't really help might get in the way of my job.
This, I completely had this experience this summer as well. I worked at for an investigative unit, and they had a week, and I loved it so much more because I felt like I got to really give everything my all, and I wasn't panic attacking. But that scares me as well. Okay, so just two more questions. So do you feel that? Oh, have you told any of your coworkers about your ADD or employers?
I didn't. I haven't told my boss or my general management. Maybe just HR or something I've mentioned in passing, oh yeah, I have ADD, whatever, but never anything serious. The only person I've really said anything to is just the girl who sits on the other side of the cubicle wall from me, just because she's the one person that I can talk to all day. And never anything serious that I didn't want to lay it on her lap as something she need to worry about with me or something. Mm-hmm. But I joke about it usually and just try to make light of it and everything. But I know that she sees me take my medication throughout the day and stuff, and I didn't want her to think that I was insane or something. Eventually I was I know you see me taking meds all day long, but it's just ADD, so don't worry. Mm-hmm. But she obviously didn't know what it.
Did she? What was her reaction?
I didn't really get one. She was just kind of okay, didn't really know what to say, or I think it's obviously something that she doesn't have to deal with, and so I think it's the case with any mental health issue that if you don't have it, it's hard to really put any perspective on it because it's something you've never experienced. Mm-hmm. So I think she just kind of left it alone.
Absolutely. Do you think that in the workplace that people would not be as accepting if they knew you had ADD or would look at you differently?
I think I've always been afraid that if I brought it to my employer or my editor's attention that they would then have to feel that they would feel the need to put an eye on me or something. They have to watch me oh, is she on task, whatever. And I don't want to be babysat, and I don't want people to think that I'm the problem child. I don't if they think I'm a good employee now, then
they don't need
fine.
To know.
And they don't need to know. If there was something that came up, they were why do you get up and go to the bathroom and back every 2 hours or something? I would explain it. But generally speaking, I think unless it gets in the way of my job enough for my management to notice, I don't think that they need to know because I don't want them to. I don't want it to skew their view of me.
Absolutely. And then, lastly, actually, you know what? That's perfect. Actually, thank you so much. That was really interesting. Okay. You just gave me a whole new area to go on. I'm so happy.
Okay, yeah, I'm glad I can help. If you need anything else from me or
I'm going to type it up tonight. Oh, thank you so much. Also, anytime you're in Maryland, let me know. I want to get a drink with you in Chelsea. I miss you guys.
I know, I miss you too. I'm actually coming up to Maryland this weekend, but I'm going to be there for 2 days. I think I'm going to try to go to Trask on Sunday. That's my one College Park day where I'm going to...
Oh my God, text me if you do. I would totally go. That would be fun.
I miss you.
I know. Okay, definitely text me. Have so much fun at your gym class, and thank you so much. I'm going to type this up. If I have any questions, I'll probably just text you, but I doubt I will.
Okay, well,
Thank
of course.
you.
Well, thank you.
And then I look forward to text me on Sunday, definitely if you go. I want to catch up and like hear about this actually. It sounds so cool though.
Thanks. It's fun. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Was
It's hard, but I'm glad I'm doing it.
What do you think of like the move?
It's been such a crazy adjustment period. I mean, like I'm happy with where I am. You know, I'm happy with my job. I'm happy with being here. I do miss home. I miss Maryland. And I miss my friends and everything that I've ever known.
Yeah.
I just I've been left without any closure, and it took me a while to adjust.
I know, that's so quick. I can't believe it.
I know. It was crazy to me, too. It was a crazy couple days, and I started, and I was just like, holy shit, what did I just do? I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to do my job the way that I was supposed to. I was like, oh, my gosh, she shouldn't have hired me. I don't know what I'm doing. And I panicked a little bit. I know you're the same way.
Yeah, no, I can't imagine, like, my first job is going
to be... Holy shit, I can't do this. I freaked out a little bit, but... It's gone, well, and my boss seems to love me, and every evaluation I've had, she's like, you're great, you're perfect, I love you.
Oh, that's so good to hear. Well, that, like, is really motivating for me, because, like, right now I'm even panicking, like, putting together videos, but I'm working for CNS for my capstone, and I'm, like, hoping that, like, just gets me a little bit more used to it.
It helped me a lot. It did a lot
did.
for me, and it got me my job. I mean, absolutely, like, she was impressed by what I did with CNS, and it really gave me a better world experience, I think, than, most of my internships have.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it definitely does. I'm glad you're doing that.
I'll be reporting and stuff and, like, doing the hands-on, whereas, like, in an internship, I don't really have that opportunity so much, and I feel like that would give me the confidence to, like, go to my first job.
Yeah, exactly. That was the hardest. I mean, that's still, like, I'm still kind of transitioning, like, the difference with everything is you go to your first job and they're like, all right, you're a reporter now, ready, set, go.
I know. How do you adjust to that? Like, I literally am going to have a panic attack. I know it.
I panicked. I basically panicked. It was hard. But, I talked to my boss and I was like, I'm just so used to getting feedback all the time. But I know that then I was an intern and now I'm an employee and your job isn't meant for me. But that's hard to get used to because my boss never gives me feedback. She's just like, all right, good, cool.
Oh,
I never get like, hey, well, you could do it this way. Because, when you're in an internship or something, you're like, well, this is good, but how do we try this? They try to shift you around and teach you, but they're not doing that anymore. They're just like, all right, that's the story, way to go.
Wow.
And on to the next one.
I, didn't think about that so much. Shit.
I didn't either until I started, and I was like, holy shit, I don't know how to do this.
Yeah, oh my gosh, that's crazy. But that's so, good that you, are able to do that and, get stories out and stuff. That's so cool.
Yeah, I have a great boss. Really helps, and she gives us a lot of trust. She's just like, I trust you guys to do your jobs, and gives us a lot of freedom. And at first I was afraid of that. I was like, oh my God, how am I supposed to plan a paper every week? How am I supposed to know what to do? Like, why is this my responsibility? But once you get in the groove of it, now it's just like I go to work and I do my job and I know how to do it. So you get used to it. There's definitely going to be an adjustment, but it goes by pretty quickly when you're so busy and caught up in everything you're doing.
I'm so excited, though. I hope I get a job.
I'm sure you will. You've got a good reel, don't you?
I actually have I haven't put anything together yet. I'm hoping, you
have a lot of experience.
Yeah, I'm hoping I get, better clips in reporting on CNS, too.
Yeah, I'm sure the broadcast of CNS is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'm hoping.
They put a lot of time and effort into it, so.
Yeah, I'm pumped. Okay, I'm going to let you go to your class. Thank you so much, and text me Sunday, definitely.
I will.
Bye. So good to talk to you.
Bye,
Thank you again. Bye.
Of course.